Yo, 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 what's up, Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas? Those of y'all in the state of Texas and abroad. This is your boy Paul Miranda coming live and direct from the box. It's in the box, the podcast. Yes, Wednesday night, my favorite day of the week. Get to come live and direct, y'all, and talk nothing but 2 hours of basketball. What an eventful past 2 weeks here. We've lost a couple of DFW AAU legends, if you will, and man, and Cynthia Guillory and Big E, Irvin Davis, Dallas Showtime, Cynthia Guillory of CMD and Team Fort Worth. Wow, I don't know how I almost forgot that, but yes, the funerals were the past 2 weeks, and I just kind of want to continue to either start the show off with one of the video clips that I put out as far as in remembrance of Big E, and then I'll do at the end of the show Cynthia Guillory's clip as well. I don't want to forget these two. I'm trying to put together some we've lost kind of video, if you will, a couple of people that we've lost over the past year and a half. We've lost Jazzy Hartwell of DFW Urban Elite. We lost Coach Lowe, um, Lawrence Johns of Dallas Seawolves. Man, great, quintet of legends. I mean, I'm thinking about them, man, just up there in heaven right now, just wondering what those conversations are amongst them, and now they have to be on their best behavior. What would the conversation be like? Can y'all imagine that? For those of y'all that know them, yeah, I had to pull out my my space outfit, if you will, the headset, the gaming headset. Man, I don't know what's going on with the earbuds, the Bose connection. Yeah, Bose, man, I got some Bose, and these things ain't connecting for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that, but nonetheless, we back with air traffic control look today. Tonight's show, man, I'm really excited about because, matter of fact, let's do this. Talking about Cynthia Guillory, I had gotten a direct message a couple of weeks ago. Direct message from one of our star players here in the DFW area, and we interviewed him about 3 weeks ago. Ryan Argawal, the Stanford commit. I've told you I really like this kid, man, and I love the way his mind just operates, man. The kid is destined for bigger things beyond basketball. Trust me when I tell you that. And the young man sent me a text message on the day of uh, Cynthia Guillory's, well, the night before, so the eve of Cynthia Guillory's funeral, and he sent me this saying, um, "Dear Paul, I'm just thinking of you, Coach Von Zell Thomas, and all of the others who were touched by Cynthia Guillory. Reading about her, so impressed with what she did for girls basketball. I hope soon, in Cynthia's honor, you interview some girls basketball players on your podcast. Send you a special hugs as you face this really difficult task of talking at her memorial." You know, kid gets it, man. You understand what I'm saying? It's other things, more important than just basketball. And this kid is a high school senior, and talking like a grown up. You know what I'm saying? Like a man. And so you guys kind of understand my affection for Mr. Ryan Argawal, man. Just the whole way he does things, man. It's just truly remarkable for me. And that message, speaking of Cynthia, has me saying, "Hey, you know what? That's what I was out to do from the very beginning. Anyway, let's start opening that up to show some love on the girls' side." So tonight's guest, y'all, man, I'm really excited about. Matter of fact, let me go in here and send him the Let me send him the invite right quick, y'all. Let's get that out the way right quick so he can. Once he gets this, he'll be coming on here real fast. Hang on a second. Let's put at. Actually, you know what? I did wrong. I put the. Still thinking I'm doing. Oh man, wait a minute. What is his? What is his email address? I'm losing my mind here a little bit. Let me grab that right quick, y'all. Okay, J Key. All right, there we go. Send that out right there. Get that to him so he can join us. Um, link. And let's send that out right there. All right. So, no further ado, my guy, Jason Key, y'all, of Premier Basketball. This guy is one of the who to know guys, man, on the girls' side in here in the state of Texas, especially here in the DFW. He's a huge, name in this business, man. We're going to talk to him about what he's been doing in this game, how he got started, man. We're gonna bring in the whole shebang, man, and who he's connected to. Some of the girls that might be catching his lazy. Everybody got a lazy eye that we got to look at and so forth. We're gonna really chop this thing up today and talk with him on some of this. So like I said, I'm really looking forward to this conversation, man. Make sure I got everything going right, Ray. All right, we're good. All right, so sound is good. Boom. Let's make sure that's right there. So he'll be joining us in a minute, man. And like I said, um, we've had I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but on championship night, we had one of the original shows right after the state championships week for girls and boys this last year. We had, of course, David Peavy and Nick Smith come on. David Peavy of Duncanville, Nick Smith of Kimball High School, and we also had Coach Robinson. Yes, for the state defending state 6A champs on the girls' side. Coach Robinson from DeSoto High School, she joined us as well. So we kind of touched on it a little bit, but we haven't really, kicked it in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We hadn't kicked that door in a little bit. Tonight is the first step in us trying to make that happen. So, like I said, I'm really excited about that tonight. So I'm just waiting on Jay Key to come on and join us. Let me just send this out to him right quick. Just send you the link. For the DFW, man, just speaking of on this young man, speaking of on the guys' side, on the boys' side, we always wonder who all has a vote for the McDonald's All American, and you got people, some guys that'll lie and say, oh, they got it, or this guy and that guy has it. Well, tell you on the girls' side, there's no question about it. Or here in the DFW and in the state of Texas, Jason Key is one of those guys, man. So this is definitely a who's who kind of guy tonight. So I just can't tell you how excited I am to finally get to talk it up. We've been talking, here and there. I kind of get in the girls' gym and watch a little bit and so forth, and we talk from time to time. And this dude really puts it in his work, man. And I look at the things he does. I look at how you know, you know, he's studying people and so forth, man. Dude is really on top of his game, man. And so, like I said, I'm really excited about having him on. We're going to talk about that. And right on cue in the green room right now. Here he is, y'all. Let me bring him in. And let's bring that right there. Is it going to do this? All right, there we go. Jason Key. What's up, my brother?
Paul, how we doing, man? I appreciate you
Man,
having
we
me.
are doing great now that we got you online right now, man. I tell you that. I mean, I had to go with my air traffic control look tonight, man. My damn Bose, they buzz ain't kicking into the computer. So I kind of got a late start getting into signing up everything when I normally do. So that's and
All
I
good,
did
man.
I did not want to delay this conversation one bit at all, man. J Key, man. I named this show tonight the real key
Hmm.
to girls basketball in the state of
Hmm.
Texas, man. And you know, talk to me, man, about your whole involvement from the girls' side of things. And I know you dabble on the boys as well, but you are a
Yeah,
huge figure on the girls' side. And talk to me, man. What got you into this? Let's start from the very beginning.
yeah. So interesting journey, first of all, right? I grew up in Duncanville, where girls basketball is huge.
Mm.
Always has been, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
back in my day, way back in the day, even before me when I was young, the first girls basketball game I ever went to was 6-on-6.
Mm.
Right? They didn't think girls were athletic enough to play 5-on-5, and there was like half court rules. I can't even remember it all because it was so
Okay.
long
Okay.
ago. But like, it wasn't basketball that we know today, right? And
Right.
so
Right. Right.
I've seen when you hear people that we do want more and more progression on the girls' side,
Yes.
but anybody that doesn't think the girls/women game hasn't come a long way hasn't been around long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it has come a long way.
Well,
Um,
the growth of the girls women's game nationally, globally, right now has like really hit a
for
huge
sure,
spike in
for
the
sure,
last 5 to 7, 8 years, maybe.
for sure.
Um, um, I know we don't have too many of them questions like in the soccer movement where the women's soccer saying, "Hey, we're not getting paid the
Right.
kind of money." You ever, it just hit me on that to bring that
Yeah.
in while you said that right now. What's your thought when you look at the girls' game compared to the boys' game, man? Do you guys, is there any kind of, 'cause I remember talking with Cynthia Yearly all the time. Love, God bless her soul, rest in power, baby.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
oh, you guys don't do enough for the girls' side, blah blah blah. What's that like for you guys that are in your shoes right now?
Yeah, for sure. So, we don't have the end game of the NBA yet, right?
Okay,
So
okay,
you have on the boys' side, you got guys that are hoping for millions of dollars down the road. That's the
no doubt,
dream, right?
no doubt, no doubt.
For us, that dream is thousands. There
Okay,
is six-figure livings being
okay,
made more overseas than in the WNBA. So
okay,
there is money to be made, but it's not the same kind of money.
okay,
And
okay,
so, and that as you go down levels, that money's lessened. Just like you're not making millions yet on the boys' side, you're not making thousands yet on the girls' side,
okay,
right? And
okay,
so
okay.
we really got to preach education over here because that's the power play long term, right?
No doubt, no doubt.
You go get as much money as you can out of this game. I think that's what you preach to the boys. But the long term thing on this, you're probably not going to make enough to retire at 20, late 20s, early 30s, unless you're
Okay,
extremely lucky. And so you got
okay,
to have a backup plan. And
okay.
so there's money, and I think there's more and more corporate, as you spoke about with the growth of the women's movement. There's more
Hmm.
and more corporate backing coming,
Yes.
but it's just not near to the level of the men's because let's face it, the WNBA doesn't produce as near as much revenue as the NBA yet. When you look at the stands,
Okay,
right?
okay.
The NBA is
Yep, yep.
full, so they're making a lot of money. The WNBA, we got to continue to garner support and attention to get there, and
Okay.
we're a ways from that right now.
No doubt. With that said, you guys being in the girls, and I don't know if you've had to throw tournaments or not. I know you're connected with Joey
Mm.
Simmons and
With
them.
Premier,
As a group before that. I don't know your history if you had to throw
right?
tournaments. Did you ever get into that as far as throwing any kind of
No,
tournaments for
no.
an
So
organization?
right, so Mark Williams, who also works with me at Premier on the scouting side, he does all our international stuff.
Hmm.
Me and him actually ran a boys and girls program out of Rockwall,
Okay.
Team Rise, and that's kind of where all this derived from. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
we ran an AAU club like everybody else does. And
Yeah.
shout out to Cynthia. I want to say a quick thing about Cynthia.
Do your thing, brother.
The first tournament I ever played in as a coach, my program ever played in, was Cynthia Guillory's in Arlington. When she was at UTA.
UTA,
so,
yeah. Me too.
I go many moons back with Cynthia. We're talking 15 to 20 years ago.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
People don't know that connect. So for sure, I want to make sure that everybody just remembers what an important figure she was here.
All right.
Yeah, to girls basketball and how much she pushed the game. And I know y'all were very close, so my condolences to you, obviously. But me and Cynthia have knew each other for a long time, and I don't think anybody ever correlated that. I don't think anybody ever knew that.
Okay.
So all that to say, I was at the right place at the right time, right? Life's about timing. So I was playing in tournaments all over. We had 24 teams of all levels, girls and boys.
Wow.
And Joey approached me about the scouting service thing. He was trying to make it work and couldn't get it to work, that kind of thing. And so me and Mark became the front men, if you will.
Okay.
And that's kind of where it took off. And that was that's been at least 10 years ago now, 10 to 12, somewhere in there, years ago.
Okay.
Before anybody was doing it, that kind of thing.
Okay. What's that relationship been like, man? I don't know Joey Simmons personally. I've seen him. I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Reputations, good and bad.
Haters.
You got haters. You got guys that
It's a competitive market, right?
I've never met him. I remember. Matter of fact, a few years ago, somebody had asked me to come to a women's game, and it was a premiere, and I was like, hey. They don't let people like me in. You know, they don't let guys like me in. And you came in, you said, hold on, dude.
Yeah. And we worked it out.
You know what I'm saying? And so I bring this up because, Joey Simmons is a big figure in the women's game as well. You work directly with him. What has that relationship been like, man? And is there ever a hard time dealing with him? If so,
for me, absolutely not. But I'm not a guy that's asking for much.
Right.
I earn it first, and then we talk about business on the back end. I mean, we all got bills to pay and that kind of thing. But man, he is a straight up dude. This is a competitive market, and I would say most people that have something negative to say about him were probably competing for space in the market with him. So I get where they're coming from. That's how competition works. But he's been in this game for over 30 years. He was doing it well before it was a moneymaker, and he's figured he went from a high school facility with a few teams to making it bigger and bigger and growing. And he's just a founding father of the girls' grassroots side. Being in it over 30 years. I'm gonna tell a quick story about him. So I grew up with the head coach at North Texas, Jaylen Mitchell. Me and her grew up pretty close. And Jaylee played for Joey.
Okay.
Way back in the day. Joey used to he lived in Midlothian at the time. He built a gym in his house, not a gym behind his house. His bottom floor of his house was a gym.
Oh my God.
And he used to go all around Dallas picking up the best players, take them to Midlothian, and before anybody cared about what this stuff was. So he paid his dues, man. That's all I can say. And as far as dealing with me, everything he's ever said he was going to do, he did. Anytime I've ever needed something, he took care of it. So I got nothing but positives for him, obviously.
Yeah, ain't nothing like working for a guy that's straight up with you and you enjoy working with, man. So that's good stuff, man. Like I said, I don't know him. I've never met him, man.
He's almost a myth to many people.
Yeah. And like I said, I honestly sometimes I don't know if I recognize him. If he's in the that's how much of a because I've never really seen him be a more hands-on kind of guy.
And to be honest with you, he prefers it that way.
Good.
He works in the background. He stays out of it. He doesn't worry about that stuff, man.
Not the Jerry Jones type, huh?
No, he's the opposite.
I get that. I like that. You guys have been together for about how long? Premier.
Me, as far as my association with Premier, we're talking like 12, 13 years, 12 years probably, somewhere in there.
What actually drove you to want to get into coaching?
Man,
Going
the
into
why.
the going into exactly the
Yeah,
why.
yeah. So there's a lot to that, right? So first
Okay.
and foremost, my mother was a heavy drug addict growing up. So I have a real. I was her only kid. I have
Okay.
a real soft spot for fathermen of females because of
Okay.
that. I
Okay.
watched my
Right.
mom
Right.
struggle. My mom's been clean 20 years. She helps
Yes,
people
sir.
with addiction now.
Good stuff.
So, but that's a big part of my growing up. That's a big part of me. And then I grew up in the on the wrong side of tracks, you should say, on Duncanville, all right,
Right.
in
Right.
Duncanville,
Okay.
where
Okay.
that kind of thing, and befriended a lot of people that didn't make it, right? That
Right. Right.
a lot of my friends growing up are either dead or in prison, man. And
Okay.
so
Okay.
I really like helping kids. That's a big. I think all of us that do it, you,
Yeah.
whoever, when we first get in this, it's because we love kids,
No doubt. No
right?
doubt.
There's a soft spot, and most of us came from some kind of story where you see struggle, and so
Yes.
you want to help people
Yes.
get out
Yes.
of struggle. I
No
mean,
doubt.
we all have that commonality usually.
No doubt.
And then I was just growing up in Duncanville. Girls basketball was always such a big thing, right? So
Right.
when
Yes.
we played, Tamika Catchings, I grew up in the same area as her.
Okay.
Jaylen Mitchell, I've already mentioned, in North Texas.
Right.
Kenya Larkin, who's now the associate AD at Duncanville.
Okay.
And
Okay.
she played at Texas, point guard at
Okay.
Texas. They
Yeah.
came
Yeah.
and hoop with the dudes because they killed all the girls,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And
Yes.
so we grew up together. And in Duncanville, the reason the girls got so good, a big part of it was they always hoop with the guys.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
nobody thought anything of it. Like they was
Yeah.
just part of it. They mixed
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when I got into it, I knew a lot of people in the business because of that. Just because of happenstance being from Duncanville, the relationship piece of it.
Yes,
And so people knew me, coaches knew me that I grew up with, or that kind of thing. And then I developed those relationships through the kids that I was pitching, just like you do on the boys' side.
Right. Right. Right.
And then next thing you know, it kept growing.
Blew
Yeah.
up on you. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I like hearing stories like that, man. How did it begin? What made you want to do this? How do you keep it going? You know what I'm saying? How you've been doing this 12, 13 years, you said, right? How do you make this last? Where do you find the energy and the drive to continue doing what you do?
Because I love it. First of all, like
Okay.
I'm very passionate about it. When you say I dabble on the boys' side, I just go watch. The thing that's fun about the boys' side, if I'm ever there, I'm not working in any way. I'm just watching. And it's nice to be in the gym and not have to work, because there's people that don't, you understand because you do it on the boys' side.
Yeah.
People don't understand how much work goes into it behind the scenes. They have no idea.
No doubt.
Right.
If we were in church, I'd come pat you on the back right there because you said a mouthful right there. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They have no idea. They think we're just there grandstanding or whatever. But if you're actually helping kids get to college, you have no idea what all goes into it. You unless you do what we do, you can't understand it.
I understand.
And so when I'm at the boys' game, I'm just relaxing, and it's different. I just get to watch a lot of, David Sykes. I grew up with David Sykes. I was a little bit older than him, but I'm watching his son.
Yes.
Right. I've seen him once a couple of times, who's coming along, and it looks like he's actually going to be better than David, which that's pretty good.
That wasn't hard, but no, go ahead.
There you go. There you go.
David.
Yeah. Corey at Woodrow Wilson.
Right. Corey Johnson.
I've known Corey since he was 5, 6 years old. Kenya, the lady I spoke of, that's now the assistant AD at Duncanville. At Duncanville. She's Corey's older sister.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So see, all this stuff's tied together. So I go support those guys. Usually is what I'm up to when you see them on the boys' side. But to circle back to your question of man, it's just passion. It's a passion project, and I'm blessed to be able to do something I love and help kids. I work just as hard for. I've kind of tied it all into one, but I used to do something called the Jukes Report.
Okay.
And all that is helping kids that don't get D1 or D2 offers and can't afford it. It gets them to a JUCO, and then maybe they get some more out of that. And so I've gotten I'm starting to get graduation letters from the JUCO reports. I get them every year.
Awesome.
That
Awesome.
graduation invites, right? So
Awesome.
we try to help every level of every kid, just like you guys do. It's the same thing. It's just girls instead of boys, and it's growing. So it's great to see.
No doubt. I like that. It's crazy. The more I kind of talk with certain people about you, and I try to get, who's that dude who,
Yeah. Figure out the room.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get to know, and everybody always says, "Hey man, that's the dude. That's the guy. That he's the man." I like hearing stories that the passion is there and it's not about the money. It's all about trying to help kids, and now you're touching on my whys on there as well. I got the similar path there. One of my biggest frustrations right now on the guy's side, and I want to know what yours is on the girls' side, but mine's, these parents. It used to be the the AAU directors and all that, hosing these kids and the parents and so forth and all that. And it just seems like in the last 4 or 5 years that has changed. And now it's like the parents are just with the pitchforks out or the guns out or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like all of a sudden we can't get them to act civilized or whatever. Do they have any of that on the girl side? I mean,
yeah, it's not near as bad because the gold at the end of the rainbow, the pot at the end of the rainbow isn't as big, right?
Right.
If you ask every mom or dad that you deal with about their 8th or 9th grade son, they're determined they're going to play in the NBA if they're elite level kids, right? And they see money at the end of the rainbow for their kid. It may not even be for them. It may be for their kids that they want them to make it. Well, we don't have that. So the pressure's off. Now, don't get me wrong. When in a couple of weeks, we're the ranking provider now for ESPN.
Okay.
And so when we do the national rankings for ESPN coming out in a couple of weeks, we're going to hear about it. That's part of the game. And so you got to be able to handle it.
When did that transpire, man? I didn't.
That happened. August of last year.
Okay.
Previous to that, ESPN, they came to us and they did a vetting process where they went through all our stuff.
No doubt.
And so they put us on as we're the content provider, which includes the ranking.
No doubt. Right. Wow. That's awesome, man. I had no idea on that, man. That's great stuff.
Oh, you talk about pressure though. That's as pressurized as it gets on the girls.
Oh yeah. Because now they're going to be, hey man, you like that girl more than
exactly.
Do you get into that without that before the season transpired? Did you have any of that?
Not as much before the ESPN piece because people just saw me as the gateway to the college coaches type thing, right? The plug.
The plug. So right.
And so not as much, but once the rankings got real and they matter and that kind of thing on the national level, absolutely we hear. And so I think I don't think it's near as guns a-blazing as it is on the boys' side.
Right.
And my theory, like I said, is just because there's more on the line right now on the boys' side.
I always say, man, it's just so crazy on the boys' side that we can't get parents to understand that as long as you're in the conversation, especially when you're sophomore, senior. I'm going to tell you my own experience as a dad who had a son coming up through this. Number one, I knew my son was undersized and was going to be undersized. We always talked about the plan, and the plan was, no matter what, we might not be the fastest, we might not be the strongest, we might not be the tallest, we might not be able to jump the highest, we might not be the fastest, but no one can outwork us, and that's where we got to make sure that we're on top of. Getting people to understand that, you know what I'm saying? I never complained about rankings. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. It kind of hurt my feelings every now and then. I'm still a daddy, right? But kept it in perspective as saying as long as we could be in the conversation, everything was going to be fine. And once we were in the conversation and high school started, that conversation started to develop, bigger and bigger. do you have any kids that you kind of have these conversations with as far as, because I know you talk with all levels. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm saying you're talking to a 3, maybe that got potential to be a 4-star,
Yep.
and what they have to do. You provide any kind of counseling, any kind of plans for them to kind of work on. Give me your take on
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. So, for anybody that's out there that sees me at games or whatever, never hesitate to come approach me and ask me, kind of what I think and all that. Now, just be prepared because I'm going to tell you what I think, and
I
it may
like
not
that.
be what you want to hear.
I like
So,
that.
there's a lot of parents that'll tell you that they thought their kid was better than I did, and they walked away. And you're allowed to voice your opinion.
Right.
I'll
You
just
get
tell
any
you.
backlash off of that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And but like usually what I tell them is I literally watch hundreds of games a year. I mean, God knows how many hours I put. I watch
Yeah.
film and all that.
Yeah.
You put in as much time as me, and I'm not being cocky in any way. Then we can
Oh, no.
talk. But I know you don't. I know
No.
you just watching your kid.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so and
That's awesome.
so I hear you talking, but you came to me too.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
you wanted my opinion. So I think that it I don't charge for advice or anything like that.
Right.
But if
Right.
anybody's free at any time to come and ask, and I've had thousands of those conversations.
What's the worst conversation ever that you've had?
Oh,
Without giving any names, without giving
yeah,
any names.
yeah.
Give me your worst, or maybe, or better
I'll
yet.
give you the worst case scenario, and
Go
that's
ahead.
just
Go ahead.
it's generally people that don't have a lot of basketball background
Right.
and are passionate about their kids, and I've been cussed out. I've been followed out of the gym, cussed out, all of it. And
Wow.
so and I just took it.
Okay.
I'm not one. I'm not gonna be confrontational back or any of that kind of stuff. I hear you talking. Once again, check. I'm not a cocky guy by any means, but check the resume
No
and
doubt.
do
No
what
doubt.
I do.
Yeah.
Watch thousands of hours of film and we can talk.
Yep.
And
Yep. I like
until
that.
they
I
do
like
that,
that.
at the end of the day, I ain't going for it, man.
There's nothing wrong with being real about that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I say this all the time, man. Cockiness, arrogance, whatever you want to call it. You can say what you want. If a person knows what they're doing, ESPN is with you guys. You know what I'm saying? They're with you
Right.
guys for a reason. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And people come to you guys for advice, parents, organizations. You have all that and so forth. You got skin on the wall. What's wrong with talking about that? I don't think
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that. So
Yeah.
I like that answer too. By the way, listen, I run with you. I don't run from you. You know what I'm saying? If you want the truth, here it is.
And at the end of the day, I'm trying to get, for the most part, if your kid can play now, here's a huge misnomer. Something you'll probably want to get into. A huge misnomer that I see, and this can be with people that played or not in their past, is because they're girls, because it's a female game. If my girl can dribble and shoot the ball a little bit, they can play college basketball, and that's simply not the case.
Nope.
The numbers say 3% of all high school girls players will play some form of college. That's D1, D2, D3, NAIA.
Okay.
3%. They
Okay.
also say right at 1% will play D1. Right? That's 1 in 100.
That's consistent. That's like on the boy
It's
side as well. That's
close to the boys,
yes.
right?
Yep.
And 9 times out of 10, if you think your kid can play at a certain level that I don't think, and not that I haven't ever been wrong, because I have.
Right.
It has happened.
Stay in the game long enough. We all going to be wrong.
It's going to happen. There's kids better than I thought they'd be, and there's kids not as good as I thought they'd be. That's going to happen. But 9 times out of 10, they haven't ever seen a college game. Because I'll tell them, all right, tell me TCU's roster, because your kid can play in the Big 12, and tell me whose spot.
Who can you take?
Let me know.
Yes.
And they can't tell me TCU's roster. So what are we doing?
So how do you deal with, and I know you've ran across some parent that probably couldn't play, and they basically ask you for an evaluation of them.
Yeah.
At a camp, because I've had that, and
Yeah.
That's
It's tough.
one of the toughest ones that I have to
Yeah.
do. And I don't like. I hope they don't remember by the time the camp is over with.
Yeah. But as softly as you can, I got to be honest with you if you come to me.
Yeah,
And I'll tell you, I don't think you have a future in college basketball, but I'll tell you why.
okay.
And whether it's you're small and you don't quite have the athleticism and or skill, whatever it is.
Right.
I'm just telling you, I've watched NAIA, I've watched JUCO basketball, I've watched D3.
Okay.
And I just don't think you can make that roster. Now, having said that, I think on both of our sides, one thing we're so big about pushing to college, and that's great. I talked about it early. Okay. One thing we can't miss on is the value of high school athletics or high school extracurricular activities. The numbers show in my world, in the girls' world, if you're in an extracurricular activity, whether it's band, athletics, whatever, you're least likely to be on drugs, you're least likely to be pregnant, right? That's a big deal. And so to say there's not value in that is a mystery. And I think that's missed. And so you gotta live in the present while reaching for the future. But don't devalue what they're getting from the present either.
Yeah, no doubt. I like that, man. That was wow. I'd never thought about that, man. Now you put that on us, I'm like, wow, I can see that now. So that's good stuff there, man. That's great stuff. All right. We talked about a little bit on the eval side. You do a lot of camps and so forth. And if I'm not mistaken, you just did the John Lucas camp this last week.
I was there,
right?
This weekend.
He's like a god to me, John Lucas. You know what I'm saying? Wow. I had my son at all his camps back in the day, man. Right Way camp. And we were fortunate to go to Lexington and so forth, do all the bigger camps and so forth. Yep. But I became a huge fan, and so many good quotes, man. I mean, one in particular that has always stuck with me is that, he asked the kids, how many of y'all got people around you, friends around you, that all they do is agree with everything that you say or everything that you do. And we were just talking about this a while ago, and this is where I got it from. It just resonated once he said that, and I carried this on throughout, all my years afterwards. That he says, if you got friends that all they're doing is saying yes to you and everything, you need to get rid of them because they ain't your friends.
That's the truth.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And that's where, the real talk, that's why I want to make sure, everybody comes at me, hey, man, why are you naming it the real talk, man? I wanted people to understand that it was everything that I would do would be real on this. You know what I'm saying? I wanted people to have a different look. Yeah, it might have been the streets kind of look, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to make sure that people also knew that I am street. You know what I'm saying? Give me your, that thing that describes you. You know what I'm saying? That you want people to understand, what you're about through what you do.
Man. It's a passion project for me. And it's seeing Jaylen Mitchell. I've mentioned her before. Me and Jaylen now are closer than we were even in high school, but we've been good friends for, you're talking almost 30 years now, right? And watching her as a Black woman, right? Succeed to the top, where she's a head coach at University of North Texas. I mean, that means the world to me. You talk about, we have now in the Metroplex all 4 women coaches: Reagan Peebley at TCU, Sharika Wright at UTA, Jaylen Mitchell at North Texas, Toyelle Wilson at SMU. I've known all these women except for Reagan. Reagan, I didn't know till she became the head coach at TCU. I've known all the other ones way before they became head coaches, right? When they were working their way up. And I watched them build themselves to the top. And it works that way with kids too. I watch you play Deja Kelly, a good friend of you, at Duncanville. And then I watch her on TV at North Carolina, and on it goes. Ariel Atkins.
Yes, Ariel.
Killing it in the WNBA. Now you won a gold medal with USA basketball. Washington. And so on and on it goes with these kids, and you're helping them lead successful lives, man. That's what it's about. I have 2 daughters of my own. One is 25, doing very well. One is 19, a freshman at the University of Texas.
Awesome.
And it's all the same, right? Like
Yes,
you watch these kids, you help them succeed, you
yes.
get them to where they're trying to go, and you can't beat it, man.
Okay.
And you know, we got kids that are professionals too, that they use basketball as a vehicle to get the degree, to get them to the job that they're looking for. We know we got one that's I got a couple that are becoming doctors that are almost, you know, right at the end of finishing. So I mean, that's what this is all about, man. And you build. That's all I care about.
Okay.
That's all this is about.
Duncanville High School. We're gonna turn
Yes,
the page.
yes,
Duncanville High School.
Yep.
You're a huge avid fan of Duncanville girls basketball. I'm gonna put you on the spot, man. Give me the best player ever.
Well, I'm gonna give you a list. So
I want one first. I'm gonna ask you about your top 5 in a minute, but I'm gonna ask you that one. Who's that one?
Tamika Catchings.
Yeah, I knew you would say that.
That's not even close. So you're talking the top 5 to 10 player of all time. I personally think Cynthia Cooper is the best player of all time. That's another debate. But Tamika Catchings is the best player I've ever seen. Funny story about Tamika.
Go ahead.
Okay. Growing up, she would lean over when she talked to me, and I thought it's because I was short.
Okay.
So she was just trying to make sure she was trying to understand me, that kind of thing. I read her book when she goes coming out of University of Tennessee. I didn't know she was deaf in one ear until that book. I don't think anybody knew.
Nobody knew that. Yeah.
And so I lived that. Like now I understood why she was leaning over to talk to me.
I was going to say, was she tired or something?
But she in our day, we had Sterling Davis, who played at Tulane, played overseas for 12 to 15 years. He's still over there coaching. Bill Washington, who played at UTA. Lelton Brown, Gerard Brown, who played at Eastern Michigan and then went on and played overseas for 10, 15 years. And Tamika could play with all of them. You're talking about men pros, and she could play with them.
She was in back in the day when we did that. Girls would always play with the guys. You know,
especially that was really good ones like that.
Yes. I mean, I still tell my brother-in-law, Walls Jordan, you know, he's got to start having the girls because he got 4 girls. I got 4 nieces.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. So I always get on him about, hey, man, let's make sure we're doing like we did because the oldest daughter was Amani, and Amani went to SMU, and, you know, she had a couple of leg injuries and so forth. But we always had her playing with guys. And it just seemed like after that time, after her class, it just seems like that's a distant memory for a lot of these girls and boys today. What changed that? You know, I'm trying to.
Well, I think youth sports has changed from there's not a lot of open runs anymore.
Right.
It's more or going. You know, the days of our day of going to the park and playing pickup are pretty much non-existent because everything's so coached now. You know, it's something we're really is an initiative of ours. Even at our camps, we try to get the players to take control. We try to undercoach and that kind of thing. And nothing against the skills guys are doing a great job and all that. I get it. But the kids need to own their own process. And some of that's gone away. You learn a lot by if you're playing with dudes and you got a girl on your team that can play by figuring out how she can help you. Right. And she's getting better by playing guys. That's why they have male practice players at every university in the country. And so we got to get back to that. You know, I just think it's because these guys, even in Little League, they start playing in gyms now when they're 5 years old, and they never make time to play on their own.
Yeah.
I think that's what's missing.
Awesome. I like that. That's a very good point there. I'm not going to let you slide on that other question on there. The top 5 Duncanville Lady Duncanville Pantherettes.
Sinitra Henderson, who played in the 80s.
That's a bad girl. That's a 6-footer right there, man.
Yeah, went to Texas. Tamika, Tiffany Jackson, Ariel Atkins.
Moore's daughter. Yeah, okay.
And then that 5th spot, man, I got to go with Jaylen. I can't not do it. I mean, you got Sierra Johnson, you got Deja Kelly, you got all those, but I got to go with Jaylen, man. I grew up with it. It is what it is, man.
So your 6th man is going to be who?
You know I got those days in there. You trying to get me killed, man.
I'm trying to help you because I know T is gonna be. I know T's gonna be watching. I know she's not on this live, but I know she'll end up. She'll be watching.
I know
later.
that's right.
All right, so now let me get to some touchy parts right quick, man. You know we got to touch up on a thing or two right now. Sandra Meadows, not Sandra Meadows. I'm sorry, Kathy Self Morgan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me your thoughts, man, on what she was to Duncanville, to you, and give me your thoughts on the ending, man.
So it's
without
tough.
saying any names or anything, going,
Yeah, I get it. It's tough.
I'll tell you
Yeah, this will tell you how close we are. Jack Morgan, Kathy's husband, called me while we were doing this podcast. So
wow. Okay.
I'll call you. So obviously that tells you we're extremely close.
No doubt.
I thought, as can happen in a lot of these cases, I thought that the punishment didn't necessarily fit the crime. I thought it was a little tough. All right. Overall, at the end of the day, and so. And I just hope people don't let it stain the legacy of one of the greatest coaches, if not the greatest coach in Texas high school basketball history. I believe it's 11 state championships. Kathy, if I'm wrong on that, don't kill me, but I believe that's right. Between Austin, Westlake, and Duncanville, she put a lot of kids in college. You ask Ariel Atkins who she is. You ask Sierra Johnson, who just graduated from A&M, who she is. You ask. On and on and on it goes. And so she's left a legacy of players, and that speaks louder than the ending and the way that all went down to me. And, you never know. Maybe she'll be back someday.
No doubt. I didn't know her, like I know a lot of these coaches today. She was pretty reserved, and her circle was small. And she didn't bull crap around. She was straight to the point, and maybe because she didn't know me or anything like that, and that's cool. Right. But she never was a excuse my French, a witch or bitch or whatever, anything towards me, anything like that. But respected the hell out of the way she coached the game, the things that she brought to the game, the things that she did for the community, the city of Duncanville, city of champions, man. I think LaJenna Howard now is followed into her footsteps pretty good so far. I still think that a lot of that is got to still come about and so forth. Yeah. But I was one. I don't know if you knew this or not, but I was very pissed off about how that happened, and I hadn't really been one to be into the girls' side. But that part right there angered, for one, we don't like snitches. You know what I'm saying? For two, I just hate that these high schools, UIL in particular, don't understand what really goes on in these streets out here, man. Every coach, is in some way, shape, fashion, or form considered recruiting, if you will, and it's like, everybody knows what's going on. Come on, man. We can't be this naive, you know what I'm saying? And then try to, blast people like that. And for her to lose her job.
Yeah, it's tough. Tough. Like I said, I get that there was a punishment. I just thought the punishment was a little harsh, and so I'll keep it at that level. But I get when you get, when things happen and no matter what you're doing, if the other guy gets caught, the other guy gets caught, and then you got to do some kind of punishment. I just thought the punishment was a little harsh. Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah. And like I said, it's such a legendary figure, and I guess that's why they took such a harsher road as far as punishment was concerned. So they can kind of nip this in the bud, because they kind of felt like the recruiting, I guess, was getting out of hand. And, hello, this goes on, and it's going to always continue to go on. So, today's day, man, I mean, you see what the NCAA is doing now. They're allowing their kids to do pretty much whatever the hell you want to do right now. You know what I'm saying? And I wish the UIL would kind of adopt some form of that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. I know some schools are or
Well,
be
and
low.
more on the boys' side. It'll be interesting to see if it ever goes on the girls' side. But so many of these kids are going to prep schools on the boys' side now too, and so there's a lot of things that just from a business side of things that they're going to have to look at just to be able to compete. So I don't know that the girls' side will ever get to that point. I mean, we'll see. I think that'll be interesting to watch. But on the boys' side, it's definitely it's led to in some ways. There's a lot of things that led to, but it's definitely one of the things that have led to the prep school situation.
Okay. Getting back to the John Lucas camp.
Yep.
What'd you see this weekend, man? Give me a brief
national level.
I was supposed to go, but I had Big E's funeral. I ended up having a DJ. I don't know if I told you I DJ a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I had a couple of events I had to do Saturday and Sunday, so I didn't get to make it down there. But what did you see, man? What
there's first and foremost, I want to take away the most important part of that. And there's a lady there named Barb Turner. Barb Turner is from Cleveland. John Lucas, she was #1 player in the country when John Lucas was the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So he invited her to come play, come there, work out with him on the side, that kind of thing, doing what he does. And she went on to play at Connecticut, won 2 national championships. Has been a pro for 15 plus years or so. And now she just got named as an assistant coach for the Houston Rockets.
Hey.
So it all comes full circle, right?
No doubt.
That shows you what John Lucas is doing behind the scenes. That's real development for females.
Yes.
That's real. That's real money.
Yes.
Right. That's real investment in the game. And that's a spot that a few years ago didn't exist. It's becoming more and more part of the female situation where you can go coach in the NBA now, that kind of thing. So that shows you what John Lucas is about.
All right.
And he's not just talking it, he's making it happen.
Oh yeah. I'm a disciple of the John Lucas arena. So
as far as a camp setting, I don't know that I've ever seen anybody do it better. As far as pushing you, knowing when to push and pull, and it's different. When you push and pull on the boys' side, it's different when you push and pull on the girls' side. And he seems to be a master of both, right?
Wow.
And so a great job. You have elite kids going for certain spots. It's a lot like the boys' side in that way. And they weren't all there because simultaneously you got kids taking official visits starting September 1st right now. Not everybody can make it depending on the visit thing. But there was quite a few standouts. I don't think I'm trying to think if there's anybody locally that would really get flair in Dallas. But there was but on a national stage, you had kids really make a name for themselves. Very competitive. I don't want to give away too much because I got rankings coming out in a couple of weeks.
You're good.
Yeah, people will take anything I say out of context right now.
No doubt. Give me some nuggets on some stuff that John might have said, man. I mean,
for sure.
That stuck out.
First, Barb speaks to the girls about supporting. It's a big initiative of mine, and it's something we'll circle back to. But if you aspire to be something, then you need to watch what you're trying to be. And so if you want to play college basketball, I kind of touched on this earlier, go watch some college basketball when you get the chance. There's plenty of seats available, right? So it's hard for you to tell me I know I can play, and this is you, not your parents, you as a kid coming to me. It's hard for me to listen to you tell me where you can play when you've never seen it, right? And so you got to tell me where your game fits into that. Barb harped on that. And then the other thing is, hey, I'm about to be an assistant coach for the Houston Rockets. I just got hired on as assistant coach for the Houston Rockets. If I can do it, she's from one of the very poorest parts of Cleveland. She found her way out. If I can do it, you can do whatever it is you want with your life if you set your mind to it. That's a big part of Lucas's mantra. I mean, if you want to be the best, you got to work.
Yes.
But it's here. It's right here in front of you. Right. And so I think Lucas, one thing that's interesting to me, and I think is coming along in the girls' game. Lucas was talking about spacing in the girls' game 5-10 years ago. Y'all play too close. We gotta create space for so that you got somewhere to go type thing. And
Yeah.
the girls game has always been kind of traditional in the way the ball movement is. I mean, you see that when you watch, right? Whereas the boys side it gets more and more open. It seems like every year. And so that's something he really preached in camp. He actually Sunday morning stopped and did specific spacing drills and said, I want to see this the rest of the day. And I told him, he came and asked me for my, just my thoughts on it. And I said, it worked because they're so scared of you. They're making sure they create space. Right. And so he has a way of getting your attention. And so,
I like that.
So I think the elements of, there's more to John than meets the eye as far as his thinking of the game.
No doubt.
And he saw that, I thought, ahead of anybody as far as the spacing and that kind of thing. And so it's something he really pushed. And then he actually put it into place within the camp, right? And so that shows you how good he is in a camp situation.
I like that. I like that. John is always, him and the family, man, it's been, Jay Lucas is my guy. I don't know John too much, little John, but Jay has always been my guy from the beginning. Great family. Good that you guys were able to connect and he talks with you and so forth. I mean,
me and
John Lucas, man.
Yeah. Him and Joey, actually, as you talk about people that know him and Joey have been close for 15, 20 years. Yeah.
Really? I never know
each other really well. Exactly. Yeah. And so that's where I started going to this camp probably 10 years ago. And Joey stopped going because I was going. And then, so I kind of took his spot within that camp and naturally go. And he always takes our thoughts. Yeah. And like you said, I mean, that's a legend. A lot of people don't know. He was the #1 basketball player and #1 tennis player in the United States.
Senior year of high school. That's great stuff there, man. That's good that you getting a chance to go to camps like that. Outside of the John Lucas camp, what is the biggest camps?
There's two really good ones, I would say. First and foremost, USA basketball trials. Whatever age, it depends on the year, what age they play. So U16, U17, U18. Two things. It's usually a kid's first time ever getting cut because it's the elite. So it's elite kids that aren't used to getting cut.
Yes, sir.
Tears and all that kind of thing. But you find out who's real as things ratcheting up. You find out who's got it because it's a lot of pressure. The thing I like specifically about them is they'll show you a set 1 or 2 times, and then if you ain't got it figured out, then you ain't for them. You're gonna get cut. So you got to pay attention. You got to know what you're doing. You got to be able to learn, and it may be different than what you've done before, but you better figure it out, or you're gonna get cut. And so that pressure, it's the first time that elite kids have seen real pressure like that. And that's what's going to happen for the very few that are able to play elite level college and then pro. That happens, right? I mean, especially in the WNBA, they churn that roster, man. So you get people cut all throughout the season. You may make that roster, but then you get cut and get picked up by somebody else. And that there's not a lot of guaranteed contracts in the WNBA. And so it creates that mindset that you got to be on point if you want to do this for a living. No doubt. And then something that started last year, but the Wooten camp. And I know there's it's really good. You got most of the best coming. And because of the cachet that they hold. And last year was really good. And then this year, on the girls' side, we have even a higher percentage from what I've seen than they had last year. So as far as the elite kids. So I think, last year, COVID, we've been up and down with COVID. I think COVID hurt it a little bit, and it was still really good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I think this year it'll be even better. So that's the first weekend of October. In Mansfield, So and they got the boys and the girls elite side there. It's really good.
Loving that. I'm really excited about that camp this year as well. Man, elite players for Olympic 22 class and the 23 class. Do we have any contestants or participants?
Again, without giving away too much. Obviously,
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know hardly anybody on the 22 and the 23s, man. I'm just trying to find a way to show some love to whoever those
Yep.
those girls could be. So
So you got a few. Yeah, you got Ashlyn Jackson, who's down in the Houston area, committed
okay,
to Duke.
okay. Is that
So
Manville? What high school was that?
she's at
I remember her.
Hardin Jefferson. She's at
I
Hardin
saw
Jefferson.
her at State, right? She was at
Yep.
State, wasn't she? Yeah,
Yep.
yes, okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
They
I did
lost
see
in the
her.
state championship.
Yes, sir. I did
Yep.
see her. Okay,
Yep. So
okay.
she's committed to Duke. Really good shooter. 5'9", 5'10" guard. If I shorted
That's
you,
nice shape.
yeah, you can shoot it.
Shoot
She's
it.
gonna be really good at Duke.
Okay.
Obviously, you got the DeSoto kids. So you're talking Samaya Smith, who's
Samaya,
committed to
right.
Texas Tech.
Okay.
6'3" ish.
Okay.
She's pretty good. Tiana Heron, 6'4", 6'5", committed to Kentucky, also at DeSoto. Yeah, they're loaded. And so those are the best in the state, the 22s. That DeSoto team's the team to watch. You're talking about one of the top teams in the country.
That's what I was going to go transition into next. High school, and you can kind of go on and put it in there all together. Then give me some of the high school, top,
Yeah, no doubt. So DeSoto, one of the top teams in the country. I'm gonna say top 5-ish coming out.
Wow.
They're really good. You're talking 7 commits. You got 3 Texas Tech commits. Make sure I got this right in my head. Yeah, Samaya, Jamia Harris, Michelle Gatewood. You got Amina Muhammad going to Texas.
Yeah.
You got Tiana Heron Tree going to Kentucky. You got Ayanna Thompson going to Ole Miss, and you got Jaya Perry, who just committed to SMU. So you're talking 7 legitimately high-level kids, and you just don't see that on a public school team. So they're loaded. They're playing a national schedule. They're playing anybody and everybody. We have them the first week in December. I can't announce yet who they're playing. You know how this is. But they're
what tournament is that? You said we. I know that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, She Got Game in Mansfield.
She Got Game.
First weekend. Yeah,
that was the tournament that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. You got it. Yeah. Right. First weekend in December. They do it. It's bigger. We do She Got Game Classic here in Texas now. It started in DC. And it's huge in DC.
Yeah, I thought I saw that.
We're just getting it going, but there's also one in it. There's a stop in DC, a stop here, and a stop in Atlanta in January. And so we're talking the best of the best. In a lot of cases, full of college coaches. So it's a lot of fun to see. It's a lot like a summer, a live summer period as far as the college coaches that come through and that kind of thing. So really good event. So, and then I know he hadn't announced yet either, but they'll also, I'm sure, get a showcase game at Hoop Fest. I've been talking with Glenn. I helped Glenn with the girls. He gives us a couple of games. Shout out to Glenn Smith for that for the last couple of years. And so me and him, he works with me pretty heavy behind the scenes on figuring out who we can get there, and then he wills and deals and takes care of it.
I think Glenn is going to be on the show in 2 weeks, I think it is.
Gotcha.
Or 3. It might be 2 or 3 weeks. He's supposed to be on the show to talk about the Hoop Fest. But,
gotcha. Yeah, he approached me about the Kennedy Carter years, so 5, 6 years ago, and decided to throw a girls game here, and it's grown to 2 or 3 now within Hoop Fest, and so we appreciate that because that's a huge stage, right? And
Ain't no doubt about that.
Yeah, man, I can't thank him enough for that because anytime we can get. When you talk about a major tournament like that on the boys' side, and you can get just a couple of girls' games in, that's a huge event for the girls' side.
Awesome. So we got DeSoto. Who else in the area?
You know, Duncanville. I think they got an uphill climb with DeSoto, but they brought in Victoria Flores, who was at Pinkston. Pinkston made that big.
Yes, my girly girl right there.
Now
I'll be having her on the show pretty soon too. I think 2 weeks, I think it is.
All right, yeah, Victoria can play now. So you got her and Tristan Taylor in the backcourt.
Yes.
Tristan Taylor's tough. Tristan plays for Joey's top team.
Really?
She's Joey Simmons' point guard. Yeah.
Do they have any size though, Duncanville?
No, that's the Kirsten Johnson. Kirsten's their best, but when DeSoto's coming at you with 3 or 4, they're gonna have to figure it out. So they're gonna have to push the pace.
Move.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to play the guard game. And then Plano, watch out for Plano East. Kayla Cooper, who's committed to Oklahoma. Donadia Hall, who's pretty heavily recruited. And then they got a 23 big, Adara Adu. Yeah, Adara Adu, who's really good. So Plano East has really They made a run last year. They almost beat DeSoto. DeSoto beat them, I believe, early in the year last year. I believe it was about 3-5. But they had them down a lot of that game. And so they have a lot of good guards that make shots. And, you get hot at the right time. They gave DeSoto fits. So I would be shocked if anybody locally beats DeSoto. But those are off the top. Those are the two best two. You get to 5A.
What about the Frisco teams? What about the Frisco teams?
So the Frisco are 5A, whereas Duncan is not 6A with the DeSoto kids. Right. So you talk about Frisco Memorial. They have the best, maybe the most fun backcourt to watch.
Really?
In DFW, Cammie McKinney and Jasmine Lott both being recruited on the D1 level. Cammie can shake you. So that's the one. She's one that people will love to watch. Lefty that can really, really dance with the ball. And then Jasmine Lott has a really good pull-up game. Frisco Liberty, who won state championship last year, Jazzy Owens.
Chris Harris's daughter is out there, isn't she?
Yeah. Great coach, Ross Reedy, who the high school Frisco Reedy's named after his dad. A lot of people don't know that.
Really? I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. Well, I talked with him a little bit down in state last year.
Great dude. Great coach. Really good team, and he can coach, man. He finds a way. You got Frisco Lone Star. Tyler Deck just committed to SFA. It was either yesterday or today. It became public. So going to Stephen F. Austin. Really good bunch there. A team to watch out for. Where's Jen? Make sure I get all the players on there. Make sure I don't leave anybody out.
You're good. You're good.
Den Braswell. That's the team to watch in 5A. Loaded. So they got Jasmine Jackson and Destiny Baker. They got 5 deep. Tori Servier, who's a big 6'4" kid. Volleyball team's really good. And then they got a really good sophomore, Kennedy Evans. So they're really deep and loaded. I got a feeling that they're going to come out of 5A.
What about Timberview, man? I don't know what Timberview here. I'm just so used to getting having the squad,
Yeah, they got Desiree Wooten, who is a highly recruited 22, and then they got to get that guard play around her. But Desiree Wooten suffered an injury, so she sat out last year. So she came back this summer, had a really good summer with Sci-Fair, and is running in shape. And she may be the most underrated kid in Texas because of the timing of her injury. When it happens your junior year like that. But she's one to watch. Really, really good.
Okay. That's awesome. I just, Kit's one of my favorite coaches, man. She, when we did a little bit with Friday Night Glory with her, we've kind of had some great conversations, some tough conversations too, especially when her husband had passed right when she was at state. It was pretty tough. So she's always been one of my favorites, man. Great conversationist. She always gets on my butt. I gotta figure out a time to get her on the show now that I'm back up running again. So definitely want to send a shout out to Kit Martin, Mansfield Timberview. 4A. Anybody in 4A?
Man, it's gonna be tough. It would have been Pinkston. But they lost their kid, obviously. When you lose the transfer to Duncanville, I think that's going to be tough on them. So I expect it to be Argyle, but that's more I don't know that they have a standout that jumps out at the top of me, but traditionally they always they come out of there. And so I would bet you it's Argyle. We got to let that play out. Play out on the 4A end.
I know the boys Argyle team shocked the world last year, man. So both football and basketball, they won state championship in last year. So shout out to Argyle, man, for
no doubt
keeping it rolling like they do, year in, year out, both on the boys' side and the girls' side.
You're doing
stuff right there, man. That's good stuff. Any sleeper freshman, sophomore, underclassmen like that we need to put our lays out on?
All right, so our young ones, I think you'll know Melania Jordan over South Lake Carroll. Good young kid. You got her and Joy Agbuna at South Lake Carroll. Yeah, man. So they're going to take their lumps because they're going to be young. Yeah, but both of those, Jordan's your niece or your cousin? How's that? That's your niece.
Her mother's my baby sister.
And she's got a younger sister that's a 26.
Yes.
It's really good.
Jelani.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wait,
And
20. Yeah, Jelani, and then the 27 kid is Nadia.
yeah.
That's gonna be the beast.
Yeah.
Watch what I
Yeah.
tell you.
And
You're gonna
so
be like, oh, you did call that one.
all going to South Lake, Carroll. So they're going to be young, like I said. They're going to take their lumps, but you better watch them down the road.
No doubt. No
They
doubt.
had a really good summer, by the way. Another team that played on that team, Jordan played on the same team, Kinsey Logan.
Kinsey, yes.
She'll be at Mansfield Lake Ridge.
Yes.
So that's another freshman to watch. You got Caitlyn Kemp, really talented guard at Duncanville.
Okay.
Who had a really good showing at our prom event 2 weekends ago.
Okay.
So pretty good players. And then Vivian Franklin at Cedar Hill.
Okay.
Who played for
Man,
DFW
they always
this
keep
summer.
some monsters over there too.
Yeah,
man. They
keep
some hitters over there.
They got a 2023 Jay Natchison who would one of the top players at Lucas last weekend. Had a really good
light skin. Yes.
Yeah, long
6'1". Yeah. She was nice last year. I saw her against Duncanville a couple times. So yeah.
There's another one at Mansfield Lake Ridge. I don't want to let people Kylie Marshall. Marshall, anybody, I mean, she is a killer. 2023.
Okay.
I'll just say moving up the rankings a little bit. So
no doubt.
Yeah.
Good stuff there, man. I like hearing that. And like I said, I got to make my list of teams I need to go see. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not as well input or in touch or in tune with the girls' game like I am on the boys' side. But these next few years, I think I'm going to have to really just start looking into it. I know I'll be watching a lot of those games now. So I'll be in my green and white again, green and black, I guess, whatever colors they're going to be in. But real exciting times for that. Hopefully I just get to be just a fan. I don't really try to do too much on the girl side now because they're coming up. I don't know if I had ever told you this or not, but I used to have originally one of the first podcasts in the game. I think I was the first podcast ever, being honest with you, that covered grassroots. And it was really strictly for the 2016, 2017, and 2015 classes. And we built it up. I was on Blog Talk Radio and so forth. And I stopped when Jules was in the 4th grade when we started it. And then I stopped when he became a freshman at DeSoto. I didn't want people thinking I was going to use that as a platform for my son's recruitment and so forth. So, and the other thing, I wanted to be a fan. I wanted to be a dad. You know what I'm saying? And enjoy those 4 years. So when I got out, when he graduated and so forth, I said, well, I got to find a way to get back in it because I love doing this as well.
It's great.
But I also found through that process a passion for really wanting to watch basketball and try to help kids. And that's what, got me to doing what we're doing now. But, man, I got to be in tune with you on your tournaments, man. I have never been to a premier basketball tournament. And so I'm putting this on you right now to say, hey, let me know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a Twitter guy, right? I don't hardly scroll Twitter though.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because I got an 8 to 5 job, number one.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I got to be doing that, and I'm hands on with what I do at my job. But I'm working from home, so that's cool too. But I need to be in on you guys' tournament because like I said, the premier basketball tournaments, man, is too big time for me not to be a part of. You follow what I'm saying?
For sure. We'll make sure you come next year. Our flagship, Super 64. That's our biggest one usually at July. There, both on the boys and girls side, there's a little question as there may be some calendar movement as far as the live dates, which will change the tournament setting. So we'll see. But you talk about the Super 64. You talk about the heart of Texas. And we're really gotten into the prom event. We had a prom event East in Pennsylvania that had heat. It had the prom event series is meant for the shoes that can't play each other a lot of times during the live period to play each other during the non-live period so that they can find each other. So Under Armour play Nike and they play independent and so on and so forth. And
how often do y'all get to do that?
So we do one a region, and then the national championship is pretty loaded in August. And so we had all over the country this year. We had EYBLs play Under Armours, and also Adidas all play each other, and then independents. And there's happened to be a great year for the independents, both on the boys and the girls side. Yeah,
yes,
so
sir. You're right about that.
There's a team, the Arkansas Mavericks, who have the number 123 in the country, who's out of Bossier City, Louisiana, Michaela Williams.
Okay.
But Arkansas Mavs was top 3 in the country. So they busted EYBL heads, they busted Adidas heads, they beat everybody. And so so it was a great year for that. And you don't know that unless they play each other. Right?
Yeah,
and so
no doubt.
3D Nation, right? Wasn't it 3D Nation on the
3D
both
hoops,
sides?
3D hoops, yeah, 3D hoops academy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw Rob Embury was working Lucas's camp last weekend. His son played on 3D. So
Awesome.
but we had an East, a West, a Midwest, where all of the regional everybody, the best of the best, played each other, and that culminated a couple weeks in our national championship. So those are really good measuring sticks for kids because they don't play on your circuit. And it's really gone off well. It's really everybody's supporting it. We've gotten a lot of support from all brands from it, so it's a lot of fun.
How long have y'all been able to do that? How many years now have y'all been able to do that?
That just started. So this will be this was year 3.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So this was the first year.
So yeah.
And this is the first year we broke off into the regional because we were gonna do it last summer, but we couldn't because of COVID. I mean, it was too hard to get everything together this year. This summer, people played for the most part. You just kind of worked around the COVID situation.
Okay.
I do want to shout out in a couple of weeks, September 25th, a big initiative of ours is the 3-on-3. So we're having a 3-on-3 tournament. We got kids from all over the country coming to play in 3-on-3. We have what's called Project and Perfect, and that is a camp for 25 through 27. So that's a junior high camp.
Yes, sir.
All in Mansfield. It's for the elite, but man, if you want to find out where you're at, we got some heat coming.
I like that.
Yeah.
What else you got
and then we have that same weekend, all at the same time at Mansfield, the exposure camp. So much like what you deal with, you have a lot of people that want us to be at 18 high schools at one time.
No doubt.
All right. And you can only go to one, and you got to pick your spot, that kind of thing. If you want to get in front of us because you think you swear you're good enough and we haven't seen you, this is the place to go. This is the place to go.
They think they're being slept on. You think you're being slept on? Come here.
Here you go. And we're also going to have a Q&A with the parents and the players, just free form of any questions they have about recruiting and how the process works and all that. So very useful information. Big time thing. So that's September 25th and 26th. I've been posting on Twitter. I'll continue. But man, if you're in high school and you want to get that look, that's the place to be.
Awesome. I like that, man. That's some good stuff there, man. I think that's a lot of the problem with a lot of camps today, and John Lucas does this a lot too, though. At some of his camps, there are a lot of Q&As with the parents, so they can kind of have an insight to of expectations and through this game and for high school, for college and beyond and so forth. And a lot of camps just don't do that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And the first thing we got to do, Paul, I think you do a terrific job from what I see of, is be honest, right?
Yes.
The numbers say 1% and 3%. They don't say 50%, right? And so understand you got to be really good to make it. And that's the first thing you got to understand. If you're not doing this every day, you don't really have that problem as much on the boys' side, on the girls' side. If this is a hobby to you, you're not going to play college basketball. I promise you.
We had it on the boys' side. We had it on the boys' side too. Yeah. It is. I got to say, and everybody wants to go to heaven, but don't nobody want to do what it takes to get there.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You know what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if you're not willing to do it, because somebody in little Egypt, Texas, right now, or Radcliffe, Texas,
Whatever. Yeah,
or
for sure.
Schoonerville, Oklahoma, some little
Right.
small town. All they doing what?
That's
Working
right.
on their
Working.
game. They're not doing
That's right.
this, playing the video games. They are working on this. They doing everything they can on that. So you got to really put in the work, and you just hit that on the nose, man. That's good stuff there for real on that. I like that. Let's transition to something else right now, man. Because I told you I'm not nowhere near through with you right now. Yeah. All right. So what do we have to do, man, to, and I want to start at the lower level right now for high school, maybe, junior high on in. What do we have to do to get more pop, get more people involved with the women's game, the girls' game at an earlier age?
I think
Why we don't
support.
have that same thing that the boys have at an early age? How can we get that?
Yeah, I think I do think it's come a long way from where it was. Much like I spoke about the 6-on-6, the 5-on-5 that we're really playing. So it's come a long way. We do have a long way to go, and I think it's more women have to get behind it, to be honest. And that's especially ones that have played. Right, and so a lot of times what you see is women will try to get into it a little bit, and then whether it's they just don't want to deal with all that comes with club basketball or that kind of thing, that they kind of fade away and they just become fans of the kids and try to watch and all that. And I understand we got to walk a certain line, but we got to have, if we want young ladies to play in the pop and all that, we got to have more involvement from females at the end of the day. And so that's something I'm helping push. I have a lot of friends that played at high levels, that kind of thing, and I'm trying to get them into it. And and so we got to continue to help push it. We got to have their help to push it, because it's them being former players that these young ladies want to ascend to.
Yeah.
And so
Ariel Atkins is one that I've been seeing at a few tournaments and a few camps here this last year, and definitely want to send shout outs and kudos to her.
She's getting into.
She really has been doing her part on that. I'd like to see others, and you hit it on the nose, man. That's exactly where I was trying to go with that. I mean, how do we get them? How do we bring back Tamika Catchins and even Big Sinatra? I know she's a family woman now and all that, but how do we get those kind of people back involved in this game?
I think this next generation, it will, just because of guys like me that have connected and stayed through the whole process, because it didn't all the way exist except for the Joey Simmons of the world. The infrastructure didn't exist for them to come back to.
Okay.
And so now that that's been built and there is something for them to come back to, now it's just a matter of getting them here.
Okay.
So I think that's the next piece. Another one, a shout out to Tiffany Jackson. She this whole summer, the DeSoto kids that played for Team Lex, she coached and mentored this whole summer. And she was on the bench day in, day out. So we are seeing more and more of it. And it's like anything, we just need to continue to grow, right? And continue to push.
Right.
And
I like that.
There's a spot for you. There's a spot for all y'all. So if y'all, if any of y'all are interested, you hear this and you're interested in getting involved, find me. BBallJK on Twitter. We'll find something.
No doubt. I definitely like to get involved piece on that. What's hurting the game right now, in your eyes right now? What is anything in particular that's taken away from getting this game, the girls' side, to where we need to get them?
Man, first of all, I think it's growing at an unprecedented speed and going to unprecedented levels. So from that perspective, not a whole lot. What I will tell people is, with growth comes change.
Yes, sir.
And different perspectives. And so people are very protective of the girls' games for a lot of reasons, because it's young women, and you got to be leery of young men getting involved sometimes, whatever that may be, right? And so I understand why you're protective, and you should be. We all got to keep a watchful eye, but we also got to be open to growth. because the only way you grow is to have more people involved. And so you got to let people make smart decisions and be able to deal with all the issues that come along with growth. But we got to be open-minded to it as well, because if I don't let you in the room, we don't grow.
Yeah, agree.
Right. And so I think it's for all of us. It's changed, like this microscope that women's sports in general, and then basketball in particular is undergoing right now is different. But I think it's great for the game. I mean, we need it. We need more behind it. We need more guys that are involved, like you on the boys' side, to come and help us. This is exposure that, like I just mentioned, what Glenn Smith did a few years ago by doing that. That's monumental. It's monumental, because you got thousands of people watching the game that they wouldn't be at a girls' game if it was going on at another site and they had to choose one of the two. He put them right into the heat. And so the more we can do that, the better off we are.
You just touched up on something a while ago, man, that kind of, my ears perked up like a Doberman pincher. When somebody's coming through the back gate or something, he looks back there and, the mindset of the women are a lot different than the young men of today's game. And here recently, we've been seeing the tennis star Coco, not Coco, I can't think of her name. This is killing me, because now she's talking about she might take a break from tennis. She's number one. Osaki.
Yeah.
Right, the mental health issues. You had of course, the Olympic track runner from Dallas with her little issue and so forth. The mindset is a lot different here. What are we doing or safeguards in place as far as the girls' side for the women's psyche? The gymnastic star Simone, right? Simone Biles and so forth. Do we have any kind of issues like that we have in some of the, and without saying any names on this, right? And if there are, what do we do for safeguarding purposes from coaches, from tournament directors, camp directors, so forth? What are we having in place for situations like that? Do we have anything like that?
Yeah, we do. There's experience is a big part of this. So guys and females that have been around this a long time, have seen different things. They understand giving kids breaks. At times they can see it on them. And then the other thing I think is it's huge that they decided not, in two of the cases at least, they decided not to try to play through it because they didn't think they could. And so I think that's actually a huge step in the other direction, and then that they have enough courage to sit up and say, "Hey, man, I got to take a break." No matter the fact that it's a gold win, a gold medal moment, or they're at a major, which is a major part of their career, both exposure and earning wise. So the fact that they can step back, I think, tells females that need to take a step back, if that comes back from them, that you can do it. Because the mindset of most athletes, through all of us, is to push through anything, whatever hurdles there may be, push through it. And so I think we're showing that if you need a break. Now, there's a difference between needing a break and quit. There's two different things in athletics with that. But you're showing that no matter the time or place, if it's time for you to take a break or whatever you need to do it. And so I don't know that there's anything. I know at the college level, especially, there's a lot of monitoring, and there's a lot of staff evaluation, that kind of thing in place for the mental piece of all this. I think that's something that we just, because of the lack of resources, both on the high school and the club level, that's something that we as adults just have to monitor and make sure that this kid's is okay. You know what I mean? Now, I think overall, we actually do a really good job of that. Just understanding kids. A lot of that's parenting. You know your kid better than anybody else on the parenting, and people by nature, for the most part, are more protective of the daughters than they are the sons for a certain aspect. They want similar exposure, and so I think overall we do a good job of that.
Okay. I was just asking on that because of the recent events. And then, I thought we had one of our basketball players that was from here, from the DFW, that was struggling with a mental issue right now that she was
Yeah.
going public with right now. And I don't want to bring her name up into this. I was
Yeah.
just trying to, with her situation, and I think you already know who I'm speaking on.
Yeah.
Is there anything that we have in place to make sure on the girls' side that this kind of stuff is not happening if if
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
was said was true and so forth.
Right.
And
Right.
because I know if I'm a parent, right, and my daughter, and I actually had a daughter that played for
Yeah.
Coach Mudd for DFW Elite with well, he's flying Brittany Griner, and I'm trying to think all the girls that were on that team. Ashley Roberts. She was supposed to go to Duncanville, but we ended up sending her to a prep school in
Gotcha.
California. But she's a big time actress now, so I don't have to worry
Gotcha.
about that basketball stuff now. But the female on female game. You know what I'm saying? And we actually took her out of that because of that kind of stuff going on. How do you guys safeguard on that stuff? And I'm being real now because this is this shouldn't be that touchy, but sometimes it is that touchy.
It is. And I mean, first and foremost, a lot of that's a personal decision.
Yeah. Do they talk about this as far as from an organization standpoint?
It depends on the organization. The more experienced ones get in front of some of that, and you definitely try to minimize fraternization, just because that can lead to other issues if it goes wrong and all that kind of thing. So, but you got to be careful with that because that goes back when you're dealing with minors and stuff. That goes back to parenting. That's beyond you. So
yeah. So I just trying to see if we're in tune or in touch with that kind of stuff, and what are we doing to try to safeguard from that? Because like I said, me as a parent, I would be like, hey, hold on, dude, wait a minute, this is happening, that's happening. I got a problem. And then, or if coaches with players and all that stuff, that's not something that's gonna keep things friendly around in my house. But all right, so we do have stuff in place on that. All right. You've had relationships with a lot of players in your time, and I'm gonna, talk about a couple of them right now, man. Let's start off with Deja. The relationship between you, her, and the mother, Teresa Nunn, and so forth, man. Give me your feelings about that relationship. What has that meant for you and what you're doing and so forth? Go ahead.
Yeah. So I know. First of all, I saw Deja play probably over 100 times over the span of my life, literally, like not making a number up, like for started. I think the first time I saw her, she was a 6th or 7th grader, and so
she's in the 5th.
Yeah. So as
high school girls,
same 6th grader with high school, and so you get to know her and the family over the years. I personally, we need more Teresas in the game. Teresa's strong now. And so she's not for everybody because she's strong in her personality and that kind of thing. I get it. But she's great with me. Great. Been a great friend.
I ain't never had no issue with her.
Yeah. Been a great friend of mine. And to watch Deja develop and grow her game and push herself and continue to, I mean, it's awesome. That's what this is all about. When you talked earlier and you watch her and just watching to see how far she can take this thing. But no matter what happens on the basketball side, I mean, she's such a great kid. So things are going to go. I mean, as she finishes her college career and all that. I mean, you can't even put into words how fun it is to watch these kids develop like that. And so, and like I said, Teresa not only developed Deja, Teresa has helped a lot of kids over the years. A lot. I've been a part of that process with a lot of kids behind the scenes that don't, they go to all levels of schools, from NAIA to, some JUCOs to D2s to whatever. I've seen her put a lot of kids in school.
She knows her stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Has there been any other ones that's been closer to you?
Quite a few. But first of all, I want to say something too about we've lost a lot of giants in Dallas here in the basketball community.
Yes, sir.
Big E being one that just recently passed. And I only knew Big E from a distance, being on the boy side and that, but I am very close with his brother Chris. Okay. Chris lives very close to me.
Red Oak.
I'm a big fan of Breeze, who's going to be going off to college after this year. She got a few offers, so it'll be interesting to see how that turns out. And so just prayers to both everybody. You, who was close, obviously, to him, to Chris. First and foremost, we've texted a few times, that kind of thing. And to Bree. Bree lost her uncle, and that's a tough spot. And so Bree's one. The reason I say that, Bree's one that I've gotten pretty close to, and I appreciate Chris letting me talk to her and all that. Obviously, she got her mom and dad in her life, but she'll come and pick my brain and all that. And she doesn't. And so she's a great kid. It's going to make a great decision, but one I'm really close to. Jasmine Shavers and her family. Jasmine Shavers is a freshman this year at Mississippi State. Played in Mesquite Horn. So she's going to do really well at Mississippi State, I think. So having a great career. The Gordons, Myra, who's a sophomore at Alabama. Lexi, who's a senior at Duke. Just close with the family. We had a lot over
there. Two of my girls there too. I had a pretty good relationship with them. My girls.
Tatum Vandenheimer, who's now she was at Oklahoma, now at Texas Tech. She's a senior, but came from just North Texas. So on and on. There's so many relationships that you build, just getting to know these kids. And of course, we've mentioned it quite a few times with me and Ariel. Ariel, it happened more almost post-career at Texas, and her. But I was always in the stands at Duncanville. She's trying to figure out exactly, what it was I did, because Duncanville people can be fanatics, I have my own thing. And so she was figuring out exactly my place in this game and all that, and we've become great friends. We actually texted the night she won her gold medal. We went back and forth for quite a while. So that's awesome. I mean, you can't replace that kind of stuff, right? No doubt. On and on it goes. And then professionally, you talk about Empress Davenport, who came through the Duncanville tree, played at Texas, assistant coach at UTSA. You talk about Tiffany Jackson, who we just talked about now, coach. And so on it goes. And Katie Krill, me and Katie Krill, who's an assistant coach at DeSoto. I've known Katie forever. Me and Katie are pretty tight. And so all levels, whether it's younger, I've just been in it so long that you create a lot of relationships with a lot of people who are doing great things. And so it's awesome.
No doubt. We just talked about a couple of deaths here in Cynthia Guillory and Irvin Big E Davis. Got me to thinking, and I don't know if it got you to thinking, but I'm not never one to really wonder about what my legacy is going to be like when I leave this world. And these dads kind of, thinking about, dang, what am I going to be remembered by? You know what I'm saying? What would I want to be remembered by? You ever think like that? I mean, if you ever thought about at the end of this lifetime, what would you want people to remember you by? What is it that you would?
Yeah, first and foremost, I got 3 kids, 2 daughters and a son who I'm very close with. So that's first and foremost, is my own kids and how they perceive me and portray me, and I'm as girl dad as it gets, and very close, and so that's first and foremost. And then as far as this, how this thing is morphed into what it has, I hope I'm seen as somebody that's really helped push the girls' game and the women's game, and for the right reasons. I don't have an agenda. I think people get that from me. I'm not money driven. Like, we all got to pay bills, but that's not really why I do this. And I'm really in this to push the girls' game. I put as much out as I can. I go to, I support as many people as I can. I go to college games. I go to high school games of all levels. I go to JUCO national championships, to the Final Four this year, where in the championship game, we got to sit behind Stanford. And so all levels though. And so we try to help everybody, and I hope that's what it's remembered for, is I did it the right way and for the right reasons.
I've taught with a few people about you, And I've never once heard anyone say that you were money driven off of this or
Yeah.
your why is because of this. And that to me speaks volumes because we are in this game. We see a lot of guys that just really doing this just for the almighty dollar. And a lot of things that they do, it kind of shows it as well. But I've never heard that about you. I think that's great stuff. A lot of stuff that I do hear about you, I often, say, hey, people say that about me too.
Yeah.
So
No
so
doubt.
I definitely felt like, man, hey, getting to talk with you, to have this conversation tonight, a barbershop type feel of conversation. I didn't want to have anything scripted for you.
Right.
We wanted to just come straight, out the box, raw
Yeah,
energy
man.
and so forth. We talked, excuse me, we text the other day, last night. I don't know if I got 2 hours worth of material. And I told you, I said,
Yeah,
brother,
man.
don't worry about that because the conversation is going to be all over the place. I really, really, really appreciate you taking the time to do this tonight. I definitely hope this is going to be the first of many more to come on this. So,
Oh, anytime.
so I do want to make sure that I get that in before I forget. So, I just wanted you to know, like I said, I haven't heard a lot of people saying anything negative about you. Not one thing negative so far. So, and I've talked with people that you probably don't even think really too much care for you,
Yeah.
because they're with other programs that probably
Yeah.
don't feel fool with Premier. But
Yeah.
even some of those guys have spoken highly on Jason Key. So might not have had too many good things to say about Joey, but spoke highly of you on that. So that to me that says a lot about who you are and what you represent. And so I definitely enjoy talking with a brother like yourself on that.
Mm.
At the end of the day, man, you want to be remembered for someone that has helped push the girls' game and so forth. How we all right. I don't know how I want to do that one, but we
Gotcha.
talked about how can we push this game to get further. What's going to be required. You said, hey man, we got to get more people involved from the past and to come in to where we're at to now to bring this game up. What about the new people? How do we get the younger people energized about this game? I'm really talking about right now. We need to get fans to the game. How do we get fans to the game? I know that's probably $1 million question and so forth. But
Yeah. It's interesting, right? Because with you have people that get in this and really get into it they become extremely passionate about it, right?
okay.
So all it is getting them there because the hook is there. You can see it. People become addicted and they're like, man, these girls can really play. I see that time and time again from you guys. Like, with you being close to the Deja situation, when guys saw Deja play for the first time, like, man, like she can play.
Yeah.
Kennedy Carter. Right?
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. And so
I'm still remembering the first time I saw Kennedy Carter when she was with Timberview. And I honestly thought that was, a grown ass woman playing with little girls. And I almost said a man playing with girls. You know what I'm saying? But kind of that was a grown ass woman playing with some little girls then. And so, but wow, you hit that one on the nose. Love that girl that's saying them. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no. And so it's just continuing to push it. And it needs to happen naturally though, because if we fake our way and we make it something that's not, and it's not real basketball, it'll end up failing. Right. And so it's just it's continuing to showcase the girls, put them on put them in the correct situation and give them as much viewing as possible, and it's happening. Like, I know progress can be slow for people and they get frustrated by it, but it has to be the right people that push the progress. Otherwise it'll fail. So it's got to be the right people behind it in order for it to be true growth long term. And so we continue to push these platforms, and they've come a long way. And we're seeing, from a business perspective, you're seeing the shoes get involved more and more, like the shoe brands like they are on the boys' side, as far as financially helping these guys to help recruit, being able to travel and all that. That's real growth, right? And so it may not be as fast as someone. I get that, but we, like you said, we got to be able to produce the revenue at the highest levels because it's a trickle down effect.
Yes,
the reason the carrot of the NBA is with the boys, and it could even be professional basketball. It doesn't necessarily just have to be the NBA.
NBA, right.
But that thing fills stands, which creates revenue for everybody to eat off of.
Right.
And so we got to push, we got to continue to push the WNBA. We got to get people to go watch it. Yeah. I think it's imperative that we watch more college games, especially if you play, right? If you play North Texas, SMU, TCU, UTA, we got all levels. All are going to be extremely they're going to be very good teams, very good programs. A couple of them here at SMU is first year, UTA second year, that kind of thing. TCU, very good team. Lauren Hurd, Denton Geyer product, who's going to be a WNBA draft pick. Right? North Texas, who's probably going to be preseason favorite to win their conference. And so, again, everybody needs to support all of these teams whenever they can. I get it. But if you're a girl – if you're a female that aspires to play and you don't support your own sport, well, then that's not – the platform can't grow that way.
Yeah.
And so –
you hit that on the nose right there, man. In order for it to grow, we've got to have even the players, attending more of these events. I definitely agree with that. I like that. Very much. I've learned a lot tonight, man. I got to say, being someone that's kind of like halfway in on the girls' game and halfway out a little bit, I learned a lot tonight, man. And like I said, you definitely don't want this to be the last time. I mean, we talked about, the importance of what it takes to grow the women's game. We talked about needing more, studs coming back to help out, and they're slowly coming back into the game. Man, I like the women or that play athletics, basketball in this game are less apt to become pregnant, or what was the other one?
No, all of it. So whether it's drug addiction,
or pregnancy, and so forth,
graduation rate is higher.
Graduation rate is high. Yeah. I've never thought about that, man. I mean, you hit me with some nuggets tonight, man.
And so there's value beyond. Do we all want to get a free education if we think we're good enough? Absolutely. And nobody's pushing that harder than me and you and what we do, that kind of thing. But there's still real value in playing high school basketball, and you don't need to skip steps. I'm big on that. Don't skip steps.
Man, you and I are on the same page on a lot of stuff I'm finding tonight, man. And wow, I'm glad I had this conversation, man. It's 9:52, 8 minutes.
Yeah, man.
Man, we went over a lot of stuff. I want to give you the opportunity to have the microphone. Talk about the people that you want to thank. On you, man. Normally I say a 30-second shot clock. I'm gonna let you do what you want to do on this. You've been so good tonight. Go on and do what you do. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a couple things. First and foremost, I want the premier team, man. A big part of our growth is because we had the right people behind it. Like I just talked about with the growth of the women's game. Mm-hmm. That goes from our founder, Joey Simmons, to Shane Laughlin, who kind of runs a lot of our operation side and that kind of thing. And he's 10-year women. He was a 10-year women's college coach from Texas to UTA to Rice. Brings a lot of experience to us. Mark Williams. Me and Mark Williams started a club, Boys and Girls, so long ago, and never knew that this would come of it. He does all our global scouting, goes overseas and finds colleges. And so, he goes to Australia, he goes to Europe, he goes all over finding kids. Yeah. So, and then our operations team, Kathy King, who runs the tournaments, Shell Gunner, who runs the day-to-day and runs within the tournament. She's the one that has all the scorekeepers and all everybody that's involved with any kind of the operation in the tournament. to Kavina Lawrence, who Kavina helps Shell, and they run everything that you see tournament. That ain't Jason or Joey or Shane. That ain't us.
Okay.
That's them.
Okay. That's them.
They're running everything. Yeah. And so
gotta have a woman touch behind it. Let's go.
without them, and they're the ones that really run everything. I mean, you know how this works.
No
And
doubt,
so
no doubt.
they run our operations of our tournament and that kind of thing. And they're the ones that make this thing go. And so the premier team, man, can't shout out enough. And then all the people that support, I appreciate it. You know, we've really grown this thing. It's gone a long way. We got a long way to go, but we've come a long way. And so like I said, don't skip steps. Be thankful for where we've gotten it, because this thing's blowing up, and it's because of everybody that supported it. And so rather than, you know, I know it's easy to say what we could be, but be thankful for where we are too, man, because this thing's come a long way. And then again, I just want to reiterate, man, we lost a big one in the women's community, in particular in Cynthia Guillory. And I just want to send condolences and best wishes to all you that were close to it. Because like I said, people don't even know our relationship behind the scenes. And I would show up at her tournaments, and she was real thankful and all that kind of stuff. And she was always great to me. And so it's a huge loss in our community, and in the basketball and the girls basketball in particular. And so I know she was a close friend of yours, like I said. And then lastly, man, I got to do the shameless plug. It is what it is. So September 25th and 26th, we got the 3-on-3 tournament. We got national kids from all over coming to play each other. It's going to be USA. It's going to be the FIBA rules. So if you watched any USA 3-on-3, it's the same kind of same rules with the 12-second shot clock and moving. So it's a lot of fun to play, and it moves real quick. We got the Project and Perfect camp for the young ones, all going on at the same time. So that Project and Perfect, that's your 25s through 27s, your young ones. You want to get on the radar? It's filling up. It's almost full, but if you're gonna get on now. And then lastly,
don't forget to send me those brochures on that, man.
Yeah, the flyers. And then lastly, the Premier Exposure Plus camp, and that's for you high school kids that say that you're overlooked and underrated, and Jake, you don't ever come see me and all that stuff.
Y'all sleeping on me. Y'all sleeping on me.
Well, here we are.
Yeah, all right.
Here we are. So all in Mansfield at the Field House, September 25th, 26th. Come see us. And lastly, man, I just want to thank you for having us. You know, much like I talk about with what Glenn's done, when we get on these platforms where you have a lot of guys, it sparks conversation, and it's sparking your brain as we speak, and it gets us in living rooms with it we weren't in before. That's a big reason I wanted to do this.
Right.
And so I appreciate the invite.
No doubt. Like I said, this is the first of many more. I'm going to be leaning on you a little bit, because I'm going to be trying to bring girls on to come in and speak. So I'm going to be needing some guidance on who the girls I need to bring in, because again, I'm definitely on the boys' side trying to make sure that they're getting some love, and I want to definitely do the same thing, on the girls' side. Cynthia was already going to be killing me over it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't, like I said, I used to have that podcast long time ago, and she used to come on religiously, and she was funny, and she had us cracking up, and she'd get on here, oh, you don't never do nothing for the girls, blah blah blah, and we just have a good time with it. So there was another thing that I reflected on when she passed, was how I just hadn't done enough, you know what I'm saying, or anywhere close to doing anything for the girl side, and not do the girl side just because I got nieces coming in, coming up, but more so, and because like I said, that's why I want to start seeing other young ladies out here, having them on the show just like I do the boys and so forth, and try to I'm also going to try to end up doing 2 nights out the week, so I'm not sure what the other night is going to be. So maybe one night is straight girls, another night it'd be straight boys. That's something me and Cynthia talked about for years doing and so forth. But I almost forgot. How did we not talk about you as a voter on the McDonald's All-Americans game?
Okay.
How did that happen?
Yeah. So kind of again, right place, right time. we actually are up to 4 now. So Joey has a vote, I have a vote, Shane has a vote. Yeah, and so we got Mark has a vote. So they approached. They had seen our work. A lot of word of mouth, to be honest. So there was an older generation kind of that was that was getting out and wasn't able to cover as much just because they were older, versus age. And I was one of the ones that came in. That was 2017, I believe. And so, oh man, it's a blessing. So obviously, they vetted. They went through an interview process, that kind of thing, and they gave me the opportunity to do so.
Now I know some guys on the boys' side of this, McDonald's guys, and they brag about it, they pump their chests out on. I haven't seen you act like that one shape, fashion, or nothing towards that, man. And it's like it's almost like here we are, we've done an hour and 50 something minutes, 40 something minutes, right? You and I talking, and you did not. That's the one big caveat that I would think that you would want people to know about you, and you didn't say not one damn thing about that, man.
Yeah.
I tell you, brother, you are the freaking man. And I want to say a cuss word. I'm not going to do it. But you are the freaking man, dude, because I don't know how I would act if I ever got that kind of position, bro. I'll be all out. Right. I don't know how I would act like that, man. But you're so smooth. So how long have you been doing that? You've been on
2017. So fairly recently, but we're going on
still a long time, bro.
That's year 5, and I definitely I work it as hard as anybody, I would hope, and your vote is your vote. That's all you got, and they tally it up, and who gets it gets it. So like I said, it was a blessing. It was a lot of it's a lot of work behind the scenes that people I don't think understand, and but not knowing that day would ever come for sure. I mean, I just got the phone call. They asked me to interview. I interviewed, and here we are. So,
what was your first thought when they called you on that? Like, what the hell?
Man, my eyes just lit up. Now, I mean, in our business, that's a huge thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's almost becoming a made man type of thing, right?
And so, bingo. That's what it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Beyond that, yes. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I like that.
It kind of lit up, and they told me I would have an interview. I think it was a day or two later, if I remember right. And so I prepped for that interview, make sure I was on point, not knowing what the questions would be, type thing. I went through the interview process, and here we are. So no, that was it's definitely professionally one of the greatest things that's ever happened to me on this side, and so I appreciate the opportunity. And as far as I appreciate you with the man. It's just not me. I mean, I think you can kind of feel that about me, and most people know that about me. But I'm not a guy that needs. I don't need anybody, the glory of anybody knowing who I am or what I am. That's just not me, man. And so that's just how I hope people know that I do business. And like you said on the legacy piece, I hope people remember that. And I just do my thing and stay out of the way, man. Let the kids have the platform because they're the ones doing all the work.
No doubt. Awesome. Very well said, man. Very well said. I definitely want to thank you for coming on tonight.
Yeah, man. A lot of fun.
This was real. Like I said, I love this kind of intimate setting, if you will, just talk with people, to give them opportunity for not just the viewers to be able to get to know who you are. But man, I feel a little bit closer to you now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm understanding you. Not to say that I didn't already, but now I'm like, damn, this dude is really real. You know what I'm saying? And you see, I'm big on real.
Well, I get it.
And it's just, man, it's just good chopping it up with guys like yourself, man. That kind of, I feel like it's cut from the same cloth, man. And you definitely have that. Like I said, first of many more to come.
Absolutely.
I don't want you to be a stranger, and maybe another time, one night, we'll be able to get the big one off, the big kahuna on with you, Joey. And then, I let my audience build back up. I used to have, right, on the old show, over 10,000 listeners, man. Now I was more nationally because we were traveling all over the spot and so forth. But It's coming. It's going to come back. So
Oh,
that's
hey,
what I
man,
think.
and anything I can do to help
No
or
doubt.
be on the show or whatever along those lines. And
Yeah.
again, this is great. It's a great cross platform for
Yes.
us
Yes.
on the
Yes.
girls' side, right?
Yeah.
And if it gains one fan, then that's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This show is not going to be just about boys. So I want to make sure
Right.
that you're one of the ones on that girl side that I need to make sure you clearly understand that we are going to have that. I'm going to be in you. I'm gonna be texting you saying, "Hey man, I need a girl. I need a couple of girls to come on the show. Who can I talk with on this?" And
Yeah.
just to give them an opportunity to be heard and kind of like talk with these other coaches that might be looking and so forth
Sure.
this is why you need to come recruit me kind of and
For
give them
sure.
an opportunity for a speaking engagement to help and work on that as well. So
For sure. That's a
it's
big
all about,
thing.
yep, it's all about trying to help these kids get to the next level, and hopefully help provide that platform for them as well. I don't want to get into oh, can you come announce your recruitment on my thing. I'm not trying to do all that.
Yeah.
you know I just want to be a source of information for a lot of people that's in this game, trying to understand this game, the younger ones that are coming up and so forth, and maybe the older ones to come back and look and just maybe shed some light on their experiences and so forth.
Right.
And that's what this show is. What I want to provide strictly, grassroots basketball. I don't really
Yep.
want to talk to college. I don't really want to talk, pro game. I'm only concerned about high school on down, on being real. Now we'll talk about some college players, that
Yeah.
we've known and so forth. But
Right.
that's what I want this show to be about. I want it to be about both the boys and the young ladies game. Go ahead, I see you.
Speaking of, I want to plug one thing, and it's out. So hopefully we'll talk again before that. November 21st, you got a lot of players from the Metroplex coming back for a mini tournament at TCU college tournament.
Okay.
So you got Deja, North Carolina's going to be
Yes,
here.
sir.
You got TCU, obviously it's at TCU. Lauren Hurd,
Right.
they got a lot of local kids. Alabama's going to be here with Myra Gordon. Duke's going to be here. Jordan Oliver, Jade Williams, Nia Green.
This Jay's last year, right?
Yeah, Lexi
Yeah,
Gordon.
my girl.
So
Yeah.
Duke's got a ton of kids coming home. So that would be a great day. I'm pretty sure it's a Sunday. That will be a great time right before Thanksgiving. It's before Glenn. It's Thanksgiving, post-Thanksgiving event. It'll be a great time to go see a lot of kids that came from the area and are out there playing college basketball from all over the country. They're all going to be here in one day. So November 21st at TCU, Maggie Dixon Classic.
You got me thinking about how I've got the Rode Caster Pro with some microphones and some headphones over there that I'm going to end up taking on the road. So you kind of
perfect.
You got my ears, you got my wheels spinning right now, dude. On I might need to do one on the road. So all right.
No doubt.
Definitely want to stay in touch with you about that one, as well as, like I said, all the tournaments I need for you to send me if you can. You got my email and everything as well. You can send it to that too. Hey man, I don't want to hold you up.
All right, man.
I know we've done look at that 10:02.
There you go.
I don't know if I got enough material to last us 2 hours. You got enough. You've been in this game for and we could go even longer. I can guarantee you that. But
no doubt.
Because I want to save some other stuff for the next round. Because like I said, I do want to make this an often thing, not every week or anything, but I do want to stay in touch with you and have you come on and give us a couple nuggets like you did tonight. I mean, you were fabulous tonight, man. Definitely. I'm appreciative for you coming on. Seriously. Again, I don't want to hold you. I appreciate you coming on, sir. I salute you, my brother, and I look forward to seeing you down the road.
Appreciate the time.
All right, man. There he is, y'all. Jason Key, Premier Basketball, man. I hope you guys have enjoyed hearing from Jason Key, man. I definitely one of the most influential men in the both sides of the girls and the boys basketball side of things. Very informative, a wealth of knowledge as far as this game is concerned. Definitely going to be looking forward to having him come on in the future. I hope you will enjoy listening to the many, many more conversations to come. Again, I'm Paul Miranda with the Real Talk Nation. I'm going to end this thing off with, as I told you earlier, man, we got to still salute to my girl, Cynthia Guillory.